If your law practice runs any sort of Google pay-per-click advertising, then you absolutely must watch this video because Google really just announced the biggest change they've ever had in really over a decade of pay-per-click. By the way, I'm Frankie Finn here, the Director of Marketing at Pilma. And Ken asked me to shoot you this quick video to show you really what these changes are, how they're going to impact you, and then ultimately what you need to do to continue to be successful going forward so you understand these changes and make them work for you rather than being kind of lost in the crossfire, if you will. So let me firstly show you what these changes are and what they mean for you. So I did a search today for a personal injury lawyer in New York City, and as you'll notice, there's 4 paid ads. And here's a different search I did a month ago for a different type of attorney in Detroit, but you'll notice there's a whole bunch of ads here on the right-hand side. And if I show you how it is today, they're all gone. So what that means is Google's really changed the number of available advertising slots from 11 to 4. So this is what it means for you. Ultimately, it's not like there's less people competing for those advertising spots, so they really just made it 3 times as competitive, which means there's more advertisers competing for less spots. And if you really don't fully understand how to use this correctly, what you're going to find is that your experience will be that suddenly you'll have much higher prices. They'll shoot up overnight compared to how they used to be. So how do you actually make this work? Well, there's really 2 things that just became even more important than they were yesterday. I mean, they were important yesterday, but now they've become paramount. And that is Google's quality score and the strategy. So why should you care about Google's quality score? Well, the simple reason is it can significantly change your costs. So if you take like an average city, like 1 million people, and say for personal injury keywords, Google says you should be bidding $20 a click. Well, your quality score is going to dramatically shift that. It almost is like a handicap in golf. And so if you're like most lawyers who run pay-per-click, you actually probably have a very low quality score. And what that'll mean is you're going to find that all of a sudden you're going to be paying a lot more for ads. So in a typical city, your ad price might go from 20 to 80 from having a low quality score. And if you have a high quality score, what you'll find is that your ad cost is actually reduced. So in an average city, it might go from $20 to $10 per click. And so the people who really understand quality score are going to make this work, because what you'll find is that there'll be 2 advertisers competing side by side, and one law practice is going to be paying $10 a click and the other one's going to pay $80. And so it's going to be a lot harder to make it work if you're the advertiser paying $80 a click. And not only that, I mean, that it usually also affects everything else that happens after it, your intake process, the conversions you get on your landing page. So there's a lot of different factors going on here. And so in order to really make the quality score work so that you're not paying huge fees, you have to understand a few things, and all these things really come straight from the horse's mouth. This is Google doing this. So let me show you what you need to know to actually make this work. So the biggest thing that affects quality score is actually the click-through rate of your ad. So I've shown you 2 examples here, and the first one at the top is an example of a bad ad. Don't do that. The second example on the bottom is an example by comparison of a good ad. So the first thing I want to show you with the bad ad, firstly, it's generic. It doesn't really give you a reason to click on it. It doesn't really say anything that's beneficial about the law practice. There's just not a lot of useful information. Now, if you compare that to the second ad, firstly, it says over 225 million in settlements, free case review, in-home visits. And if you look at all these things, it gives you a lot of different reasons why you'd actually want to click on that. It also has something below it called ad extensions, where you see this car accident cases and this information here, which is it's additional links you could click on, and ultimately what that means really is just that it's a bigger ad. It takes up more space, and so more people are going to likely click on it because they've understood how Google's advertising platform works. So what will happen, you'll find, is if you're one of the lawyers who's really just kind of rolling the dice with pay-per-click advertising and you run ads like the first one, you just won't be able to run them on Google anymore, because they'll, with 7 spots gone, you just won't have that space available. And the person who's running this kind of ad, who's going to have a better quality score and is going to understand it more, what they're going to find is that Google helps them even more. So the second thing that's really going to affect your quality score is the landing page. And so you want to ask yourself, which one of the lawyers are you doing this? Now, this is an exaggerated example. It's a terrible landing page, but this is a guy really running pay-per-click advertising. And what most lawyers are doing wrong is they're sending, all their clicks to their homepage. And so Google's really just effectively eliminated that. If you're trying to do that, where you're trying to send everybody to one single page and treat them as all as if they're interested in the same exact information, it's going to affect your quality score, and you're just going to find it impossible to advertise. So I didn't really have a good example to show you in personal injury or SSD or mass torts or workers' comp. So I wanted to show you, here's a bankruptcy example. So this person is running an ad for a bankruptcy ad, and it goes to a specific page on bankruptcy, and it has a whole lot of information. It's got a form to fill out, and it's a good matched landing page for what they're looking for. And this is what Google is ultimately looking for is, if somebody searches for something and then you send them to a page, did they get the information they're looking for? So this means for you practically, if you have different almost like sub niches, like say slip and fall cases, or car accidents and motorcycles, those have to really be different keywords and different landing pages. So they have to kind of match the user intent. So when they search for something specific, they get a specific landing page, and you, like I said, you won't be able to send people to your homepage, especially if it's as bad as this guy's. So here's a simple one you can model. This is one of Ken's landing pages for SSD. He's got a minute video that points to a book, and obviously I can't show you the whole thing because it's just a still image. But if you scroll down, there's useful resources on most common things people ask in an SSD case. So there's actually a lot of useful information that's kind of cut off here below the fold. But if somebody is searching for SSD, this is like a highly valuable and helpful resource because it gives them a lot of really good info. And so as a result, he's somebody who would benefit from the quality score. Third thing you really want to look at is, it kind of affects, which is really just matching keywords to landing pages. So campaign A is how a lot of lawyers do it, and that's the wrong way to do it, which is they basically throw all their keywords into one big campaign and send everybody to the same page, and that really is just going to be effectively eliminated with this Google change. The much better way to do it is to focus on keywords that have a related theme, like slip and fall cases, finding all those keywords and then sending them to a slip and fall landing page, and then taking very similar keywords like car accident cases. And so for example, if somebody searches car accident lawyer and car accident lawyers and car accident attorney, you could probably group all those together and send them to a page about car accidents. So you're really going to need to focus on segmenting keywords by really similar themes, and the really, really highly popular, most searched keywords probably need to be entirely by themselves. Next thing Google's really looking for is your account history, and one of the things they hate is when you either when you turn off your campaign after a couple weeks, it's not working, and you pause it and then turn it back on later. So they don't like you to be kind of like just trying it out and seeing. They like advertisers who are committed to making it work. So the advertisers who are committed to making it work will continue to run ads, and what they'll find is that while they pause individual ads and campaigns, the whole account continues to progress. And so what you found is that if you've run pay-per-click in the past and it didn't work for you and you shut it off, and then maybe you tried it 2 or 3 different times at different reasons, for whatever reason, you have a poor account history, and you're probably better off just starting brand new. And then the flip side of that is somebody who's very active in their campaign. They're trying different ideas. They're pausing what doesn't work, but adding additional budget to the stuff that is. Google really loves your account history, is going to increase your quality score, and as a result, you're going to benefit from this again. And then the last thing I really want to show you is just the strategy. 99% of the lawyers I see really just aren't running retargeting. And it's something you really need to do, because no matter what you do, 90% of people are just not going to call you the first time from a pay-per-click ad. And that's just because we're conditioned as humans to put off buying decisions. Now, why retargeting is so powerful is because it's really cheap, and most of the cost is the front-end click. So if you pay $20 a click to get one person to visit, you might only pay 25, 50 cents to get them back on a retargeting ad if you do it correctly. And so you can follow up with people, and you can really just, by retargeting, making your advertising dollar go so much further. And so those are really the big changes, and we just want to kind of show you this so you could be proactive and be at the forefront of this. So if you have any questions, or you just want to know if your vendor's on top of it or anything like that, you can shoot me a personal email here at frankie@pilma.org, and I'd be happy to answer any follow-up questions that I didn't cover in this video. So Frankie over and out, and thanks for watching.